Hi, this is Regina Y. Favors coming to you with Life Talk Topics. This is part of my Life Rebound and Recovery series. Life Talk Topics are usually helpful for anyone who has been in a setback and is on their way to overcoming a setback. The topic will help you to gauge where you are in your understanding, as well as help you to plan your way out of setback, which involves um, you understanding your own contribution and the contribution of others. So take some time to listen to this Life Talk topic. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment and I will respond. In addition, I usually leave some sort of link in the description box. Also, subscribe to the channel as well as hit the notification button if you are interested in further topics. Um, Thank you very much for visiting my channel, and I hope you are able to gain some insight from this Life Talk topic. So the question that you want to ask yourself, where am I unsound? And a lot of times we are unsound in finances. Um, this is a hard thing because there are a select few of individuals who are very good at finances, and then the majority of us are not so great at finances. We can still pay our bills, we can still maintain shelter costs, but we might struggle creating a savings plan, an emergency savings plan. If we had a flood, if we were experiencing a flood or fire, would we have enough money to move into a motel for a short term? And that is something that we need to consider, that even at 44 years old, that has still been a struggle for me. I can pay for myself, I can take care of myself, I can be responsible for myself, but that is still a struggle to not necessarily manage finances, but manage transition if something happened to me, like a health issue, like a fire, a flood. I do have a retirement savings, right? But there are some things that I don't have that I am working on. Where am I confused? So you want to inventory your belief system. It is hard to let your yes be yes and your no be no, because as soon as you decide to have a singular focus on something, whatever the something is, I'm going to wait to date for about a year, or I'm not going to have sex for a couple of years, or I'm not going to date the same type of guy again. Whatever it is, I want to lose 20 pounds, anything. And you decide to have a singular focus on something. Just when you say, I'm not going to do this anymore, here come the hindrances. Here come the distractions. Here come the opposing arguments. Here come the counter arguments. Girl, you don't have to do all that. Just do this. And you have to believe in the thing that it is that you want to do. If you feel like you need more training and direction in something as you decide to take on a new task in your life, then you have every right to pursue that. So be careful about people who challenge your belief system. Where am I tired? So inventory friendships. This is where I had a major issue, in addition to family member issues. Friendships. So when I lived in San Diego, I had a group of friends, and they were good people, but they were not people who were necessarily focused on anything. They went to work, they paid their bills, but they didn't have like a dream. They didn't have something that they were reaching towards. And the thing about me, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. I was going to college, but there was a hint of something in me. And a lot of times when you're spending too much time with friends, you don't have enough time to think and reflect about yourself. And there were so many instances that I can remember today that I actually had time to think. But as soon as they called, I went out with them, whether it was to the club, whether it was to the movies. And even though those events were very good events, I could tell that I was bothered by it because I knew I needed to get out my homework, or I knew I needed to rest, or I knew I needed to not be on the phone. And so many times I was tired really for no true reason. It's, a true tired is when you've been working all day, 8 to 5. You have the commute, and then you work all day, clock in, clock out, and then you commute home, and then you are just tired. Okay, that's a true tired when you are a single mother or a parent or two parent homes and you have to deal with the kids every day. Those are true tired. But running around doing nothing is not a true tired. And that's what happened with those types of friendships. And so eventually they had to fizzle out because they were not going anywhere. And I'm very careful now about who I choose to be in my life. Where am I stretched? So inventory, family boundaries. So it's very important. Oftentimes, if you have a male sibling, the male siblings in your life always treat the women, whoever the women is, it can be a sister, it can be a cousin, it can be a mother. They often treat them either as wives or maids, and you find yourself ending up doing a lot for them when they can be doing the things they need to do for themselves. And so, most what I realize with families sometimes, when they see you don't have any kids or you're not married, suddenly they want to put their kids on you, or they want to put all of their responsibilities on you because, of course, you don't have anything, or you don't have anybody. So let me make you busy, doing the stuff I need you to do. Well, there has to come a time in your life when you say no, and they're going to get mad. And a lot of times with family, they don't hear no, they hear no for that moment, but they're going to come at you from a different angle. So that means you may have to reconsider, volunteering just because just because they want you to keep their kids, or they want you to drive them to work. I mean, if you had to ride the bus, the majority of your adulthood, okay, then they should ride the bus. I'm not saying be mean to people. And I mean, if you are going the same way, it may not be a big issue. But a lot of times when you have the car, when you have the house, when you have a good bank account, they want to use you in your life to make their lives more comfortable. So you have to set boundaries. That means if you have to set boundaries with your mother, your father, that all of that is important, because if you don't, and you are run down, it'll be hard for you to do any job or go after any dream. Where am I in poverty? So poverty is not always economics. Poverty could be skill and talent development. So when I graduated from college, I had a bachelor's and master's in English. And I just assumed that I was going to pursue the PhD in English. But when I graduated, I was so burnt out that I did not apply to a PhD program. I was just really so tired. I had been working full time prior to going to college, and then while I was at junior college level in Dallas, I was working full time, and then I moved to San Diego and I was going to school working full time, and then I did college to college to college, course to course to course, and I never really rested. So by the time I graduated in 2005 with my master's degree, I was burnt out. Well, I realized when I had to begin applying for jobs that my degree, even though it was in English, and even though I qualified for jobs, it wasn't really necessarily competitive. That you can have a room full of qualified people, but someone else can have something that is, that pushes or advances them up to the next level of the interviewing process. So I realized I wasn't competitive. And that's the reason why too that I'm going after the second master's in psychology, because it opens doors in addition to English. So I could teach in psychology, but I can also go into the business world. I could go into the student services if I want to stay at the college institution. So inventory your skill and talent development. Look at current job postings for your career. Go to Bureau of Labor Statistics. Go to a particular job site website and look at what they're advertising, and then match that up to what it is that you have in terms of your skill, talent, and then academic offerings as well, and see where there is lack. And you may have to catch yourself up with maybe a little certificate. Usually a certificate is about 4 courses, right? If you're doing it at the um, college levels, right? You don't necessarily have to select a major. And usually the certificates that we really need are in technology because everything is going into e-learning. So that's something that you want to consider. Where am I lazy? So inventory your wishes. The worst thing that you can do as a person is fantasize. You do need a visual image of the thing that you are going after and want to do. And people like to have these little storyboarding, little vision boards, right? But somewhere you're going to have to put pen to paper, or you're going to have to put action, employ action, because you can sit there and wish and wish and wish all day and not accomplish a thing. And so that's where you need to sort of inventory where you're lazy. I often think about people who like to say they want to be rich. What that tells me is they are not workers. Um, they are not the type of people who actually will work. Now, they may work on a job. They might have been on that job for 10, 15, 20 years. But that's only because they can't go and live with someone. So a lot of times they will work, but that doesn't necessarily mean they are workers, because if you want to be rich, then the next obvious thing to do is to begin writing out a plan, writing out the vision to move yourself towards that next economic station. Where am I overworked? So inventory your multitasking. There is multitasking, and then there is too much on your plate. And that is something that you need to consider as you move forward, because there is a number of things that you need to do that are in your field, that are part of your field. As a college teacher, I have to take into consideration not only the syllabus I create, how I manage the classroom, how I navigate the semester, how I deal with students, but also the department itself, the English department. I have to deal with the division. I have to deal with, English departmental guidelines for how we construct the syllabus. I have to attend the meetings. I have to do professional development. And then there are accreditation issues, accessibility issues, privacy and confidentiality issues. Those are essentially state and federal issues. So you have enough on your plate for the things you already have to do. And then in addition to that I have developed this series, this Life Talk series, the When They Marry Someone Else series, my website, YouTube channel. That's more than enough. It's not feasible for me to be in a relationship with someone, because I'm trying to get myself out of one economic station into another. Also, I'm trying to move myself towards thrive. So inventory your multitasking. Where am I regretful? So inventory your ability to overcome. And that's something, because I don't like to do a lot of regretting. I made the decision, okay. But there are just a few areas in my life that I do sort of regret, that I wish that I had better sense of things at that time, or asked the right questions. The last relationship I was in, I found out the guy was married. Now we were 2 years into the relationship. I didn't know he was married, and I asked the question whether he was married, and he said no. And then at the same time, he was seeing an ex and they were engaged. And then he was engaged with me and he was married. So it was just a number of things. And I basically labeled him the snake that I ran into in my lifespan. And with that situation, because I was always the type of person, I did not want to take another person's man. I hate that kind of stuff. But I actually became the type of person who was in relationship with a married man. So that is something that I regret. Another thing I regret is to being too busy in college. I was all over the place. I was in college. I was on student government. I was hanging out with friends. I was doing everything but be a student. And I wish that I had spent more time being a student than I at that time, because then if you get your studies out when you have the energy, when you have the mind, the 20s and your 30s, right? When you get to your 40s, it's not such an arduous task. It's not something that you have to push through, because you have developed the habit of getting out your studies. So think about those areas where you might regret, you may have to grieve over it. Don't spend too much time, because spending too much time is like spending too much time in that time. And so it is a season that happened, and you have to think about how you are going to overcome. Overcoming is essentially making peace with the idea that you cannot reconcile that issue, that you cannot go back and finish that issue out. That the most important for you to do right now is to continue walking forward. Where am I lacking rest? So that's that inventory, your anxiety. And if your shoulders are raised, if your heartbeat is racing fast, if your head is kind of full, if you sort of jump at things, you are anxious. And you have to think about where you're anxious. And the most important thing to do, as I noted at the beginning of the audio, is to rest. That a lot of times, if you eat some food and rest, the answer will come to you. The issue that you are stressing out about, there is an answer to it. There is a solution to it. And that's why we oftentimes are anxious, because we think there is no solution. So rest. Go cook a meal. And I'm not talking about eating a fast food meal, like a real meal that takes time to cook. Eat a plate of it, drink some water, and then go rest. By the time you wake up, you will have the answer. It'll just sort of come to you. And then, of course, if you are concerned about eating and lying down, just get up and do some exercising. So now that we sort of have taken inventory of ourselves, there's a writing task I want to give you. And so life is filled with complexities and stresses. We often do not take the time we need for rest. Where are you suffering burnout? Journal the cause of your burnout. So I know what the cause of my burnout was. I had, I was doing more things that really didn't have a true impact. That if I had just stayed with the schooling and been and stayed a student and did not get into extracurricular activities, or just chose one thing to do and develop myself in that, I would not have had burnout. So that's something that you want to consider. All right, so hopefully you were able to gain insight from this video discussion. Please like, subscribe, and visit. So uh, please like the video, hit the notification bell for more discussions. I am re-uploading all of my audios, so I needed to make some changes to them. You can visit my website for more content at reginayfavors.com. If you want to send me an email, you can send an email reginayfavors@yahoo.com. Please also purchase the book. It's going to come out in spring 2021. So I had to make changes to my book to update it, and I also updated the title. So the original title was Bait, Hook, and Switch: Confessions of a Rebound Girl, and I have updated the title to Toxic Encounters: Why People Pursue Rebound Relationships. So right now I'm still basically editing it, and I want to make it available in spring 2021. So thank you very much for visiting my channel, and I am Regina Y. Favors. Have a great day.